Yo, what's up, guys? Happy New Year, first of all. And we're looking at a team that I didn't really expect, or another dungeon that I didn't really expect to make another video for. It's been quite a few of PC videos, but this team is incredibly fast. It does fail from time to time. The original maker, which is Seiishizo, the French streamer, caster, and all that kind of good stuff, did mention that it was 100%. Personally, I didn't get it to 100%. I'm not entirely sure how you would get it to 100%. And that's not necessarily for rune quality, it's just more of the setup. So I'm not entirely sure if I'm doing something wrong. Could be anything there. But this team is incredibly fast. So what is this team? Well, let's first of all say it's a lot more premium runes than the other two teams that they showcased. And you kind of, I think, need those runes. He did showcase some of the runes without artifacts and it was still working, but I don't think it would work in a full derp setup, and I'll show you why that is. But this team is definitely better than the other two teams, so definitely credits to him for making this team. I'll put his video in the link down below as well. But what is this? So we have a bunch of other units. We still have the Julie one-shot. That is still the exact same set as it used to be. After the Julie one-shot, we have a Seek moving. Seek goes for perfect AI on the attack buff, which it always does these days. Then we have a Sonia moving. Sonia is pretty interesting for this dungeon. I've seen more people use Sonia because, well, I would say you need slightly a bit of a faster Sonia if you want it maybe a lot safer. Maybe that's the thing that I'm doing wrong, that I would have to speed up my both my Julie and my Sonia, and therefore Sonia has more attack bar over the, or not attack bar, attack speed over the boss, and therefore you get more glancing hits in and makes it a bit more safe, and then you also do more damage and that kind of good stuff. So that could maybe a thing that I could improve on. Artifacts wise, well, for these two it doesn't really matter. Well, this one, just a one shot, whatever you put on afterwards, doesn't really matter. Artifacts for Sonia, I have damage on light, that makes the most sense. And I have crit damage is max. The reason that I go crit damage max is that she moves first, and therefore you want to go crit damage max in there. Afterwards, we have Patrick move, and Patrick is a unit I haven't showcased at all any time on my stream or videos or anything like that. But Patrick is the Fire Steel Commander or Fire Ezio, and it's a pretty interesting unit because it goes for ignored defense the moment that there's lost HP. That is a pretty strong thing in general there. It might even be a useful unit at some point for PC, or not for PC, for SF. Could be a thing. And then we have an armor break on this skill, and then also just damage on this skill. So pretty interesting skills in general. I did put damage on light on him, of course. But on the other side, I saw that Seiishizo went for crit damage is low, but I think you still want to go crit damage max, because in the case that Sonia derps, you want this thing to hit as hard as possible to get Liam in the perfect AI state. So perfect AI state is pretty low on HP, and I have seen it that it doesn't always go for that. But yeah, Liam is also full on damage. You could say that if you need the extra fight set, I would place the fight sets on Liam, because he's the one that's less interesting for going full ham on damage, because there's a lot of runs where he doesn't even take a single turn. So he could be on fight. We also have damage on light on this one, and then we have some crit damage less on this one, because I expect him to be hitting at a time where like things are lower, and I can still like jam out some things for these artifacts. So what does it look like? Why is it this fast? And why do I see still some fails? So first of all, we have a clear of the wave. That is pretty obvious. After that, we have the Seek moving. If we go from Seek into Sonia S2, it's an insta-killer. That is definitely really nice. And that just makes things very fast. In this case, I do have everything willed. You need to, well, everything except the Sonia, because, well, you need to have that willed. Just because you don't want to get attack bar messed up, and, or not the Sonia, the Julie is not willed, and therefore moves in front of the boss, and then also makes that. The lowest speed that you can put on the Julie, as I have in this current team, is plus 53. No, wait, is that 53? 56? Plus 56 is the minimum. And then because that is the 175 combat speed, and then the other units have to be above 169 combat speed, I think. No, wait, can actually be a little bit lower. Can that be lower? I think it could be lower. I don't know 100%. We don't see the exact stats on these dungeons anymore, but I do know that for the Julie, it's the minimum of plus 56, so a 159 makes a combat speed of 175. Yes, those numbers. Should I have to make my Julie faster, and therefore I can make my Sonia faster, and therefore I can make this run more consistent? That is something that I will try out at a later moment, but I do think that would help out a little bit. The other three units don't really need to be any faster, but I'm pretty sure I can make my Julia a bit faster and still be able to one-shot because I'm overkilling it by a bit. So yeah, where does it go wrong? So where it does go wrong is I will go into a dungeon where I can do the manual thing afterwards. And the thing where it goes wrong is if this goes for an S1, this goes for an S1, and even you go for an S1, which is slightly low on the likelihood, but it is possible. So once again, if we go full S1 on all 3 units right now, it is very good odds that also in the next fight, it doesn't really start pulling up their correct skills. So yeah, also your Liam is not gonna have S3 up if he did S3 on the previous stage or like on the wave 2 because the cool time is too long for that. So there are a few things here that could slow it down, could make it a little bit bad, and that's mainly based on like, okay, are your Sonia and your Patrick doing the right skills at the right time? And I don't really have to end this, you already saw like how that goes. If they decide not to go for their skills a bunch of times and you start getting attack broken by the left crystal, he starts getting the speed buff, which makes it that his passive is not fully working because there is a buff on the enemy. It makes that the Sonia is not outspeeding the boss and therefore makes it a little bit worse. So yeah, then at that moment you have a few things in there that is like, okay, you can fail on that. If I were to make my Sonia faster, I think it helps out a little bit because you get the attack bar gained at the moment that you're faster than the enemy. Maybe that's why I need... that could be a thing. I think that could be an interesting thing that Sonia needs to be above 175 combat speed as well. So the Sonia is always faster than the boss until the boss gets a speed buff. And it will probably make things a lot more safe. Currently, she's not that. I think. I'm not entirely sure how much I was at. Do I still have it in the optimizer? How much is a 162 for you? 162 is 180. Okay, so she's already she has enough combat speed as well. I did look away for a second, so I'm not entirely sure what went wrong on this one. But yeah, you can see some matches get a little bit more in the wonky state. But this is absolutely the fastest dungeon team that I can think of right now, right here. I would say that the other team that I was doing with the Orang and the Aprilia, it did have some fails here and there as well. I think this one will fail more, but this one is also quite a bit faster and I can maybe improve on a few things here and there still. So not too sure if you want to put shield stats to it because it's really important to just do as much damage and actually just give the chance of the boss not taking any turns as much as possible. But definitely a very interesting team, very nice use case of ignore defense. And that's just the way to go. Like if you kill the enemy faster than they are killing you, that's definitely one way to clear this all. And yeah, that's a pretty amazing team. Definitely did want to showcase this. Once again, I didn't create this team. All the credits go to Seiishizo, which has been testing quite some with Sonia. I have also seen other people that actually go for Sonia and then with like Icarus and Rogues and that kind of stuff. Sonia in general is a very good unit for this in general. Were you to say like, okay, I have some of these net 5s, but not all of them, what can I replace? I would say that I've seen on Reddit someone post that you could replace the Sonia with a Aprilia. So the the Wind Harp. It's an Harpy? Yeah, an Harpy, not Harpoo. Harpy, yeah, the thing that armor breaks. You know which one it is. Harpy that armor breaks, that one. So that is an option. It does mean that your Patrick, the moment Patrick doesn't do its skills, that your Liam is probably going to be in a kind of a bad spot as well. But that is an option, so Sonia replacement for the Aprilia. I would say Patrick in this team is very much on spot that you can't really place it for anything else. Liam, I was actually thinking about Liam. What if instead of Liam you use a unit that maybe gives a attack bar boost fully to Patrick? Could be a Raccoony, could be any of those kind of units that give like attack bar boosts. And for that reason you have Patrick moving when the boss is on lower HP as well. And with that you can maybe get in like a few extra hits. Also nice thing about Sonia S1 actually has slow. So with that, my Sonia actually doesn't have any accuracy, I think. Let me double check. You could give some accuracy to Sonia too. Yeah, it's just the 11. That's not really that much for this dungeon. So you could maybe add a little bit for that for the chance of things going wrong. At least you add in a slow. My Patrick does have some accuracy, but he awakens into accuracy, so that's a bit easier for that as well. And for him, it's the S2 that has an armor break, so that definitely helps out a bit for like the whole fight, that there's still an armor break unit in there. It is a little bit less consistent because he doesn't have like a perfect AI for it anyways. But in most cases, these runs just go like incredibly fast. And you see some runs here going like 30 seconds, 35-ish seconds. But most of these runs are actually just around like 18 seconds all the time. So that's really insane. So I've been getting averages of like just below 20 seconds every time. Or yeah, actually since I started running this, every time was just under 20 seconds. So that is absolutely a really fast team, and I do notice already that I had quite some decent artifacts. I had a few very good improvements. I would definitely recommend everyone to farm at least a bit of PC, because since now we have the crit damage first skill, and crit damage first skill is an incredibly strong line because there's just so many units that can utilize that very well. So I would definitely highly recommend to go for some PC farming of like a week or two, maybe 3, 4, depending on what your artifact quality is. For me, I probably kind of am done with this already for most part. I will do it like probably like 2, 3, 4 more days more, and then I'll probably go back to Giants. But I can say that I farmed a lot of artifacts on like the other releases when they were released before. So, but I would also say that PC is probably the dungeon that people have weaker artifacts on, because it's harder to get the specific lines on artifacts, because you get a lot of those shitty lines of like recovery skill 3 for attack, bomb damage for supports, and defense type, like all of the kind of crap. So, yep, definitely a very nice showcase of this whole team, or like just killing this in general and getting some creative things in there. I haven't really seen like a full LD creative team on this yet. Maybe it's out there. Let me know in the comments if you have seen any of those, but they gotta be fast. They gotta be like 17 seconds fast or something. Not sure if you can do something crazy with like Jara, Zerath, Lucifer, I don't know. Cool units. So after a little bit more testing, I did rerune to make my Julie faster. So my Julie is faster right now. It's not one-shotting with the old state. I actually changed this into a double fight Willer as well. And with that, I could make my Sonia a lot faster. The other 2 units are still the same, while the Seek is like sped up, but that doesn't really change anything too much. I did notice that the average run goes slightly down, but my success rate goes slightly up. And that makes a lot of sense, because runs that fail, they do not count in seconds for like how long it takes. So those are the kind of runs that goes for full more derp kind of stuff. And with those full on derps, I still succeed, but then I get like a 36 or a 40-second run, which definitely slows down my average. So technically, if all of your runs that the derp instantly fail, it would show a fast average time. So it's kind of cheating in that. So yeah, I definitely, well, this is even way crazier to rune, I would say, because in this case, I did speed it up by quite some. Could be a little bit more tanky, and then they can survive a little bit more hits. But yeah, this is, I guess, the way that I will run this for now. And this is absolutely a really insane team. Like that. Guys, thanks a lot for watching. Definitely check out Seiishizo with all of his good stuff as well. And see you as always in the next one.